Alright, boys, welcome back to another video. So today I'm making a video on how I would reach 10k a month of like if I had to start again, or just how to reach a 10k a month with OFM, right? So this video, I was writing everything down, and in my opinion, it's all sort of like simple things, but I feel like a lot of people overcomplicate reaching 10k a month of OFM. You know, if you've got one career, two careers, however many, it's honestly not hard to reach 10k a month. Like 10k a month is like you sort of just have to do the bare minimum and basics. And if you do it correctly with the right creator, it's not hard to get to that point. I do think reaching 10k a month, especially like somewhat quickly, does also depend quite a lot on the creator. Which is one thing I'm gonna talk about in a second. So yeah, so first thing is the basics, and don't waste time on creators that don't respect you, are not hardworking, etc. So, things like that. So what I mean by that is just I feel like a lot of people get scared that they're gonna lose their model and kind of just hold on to that model no matter what. Like even if that model is rude to them or doesn't respect the fact that the agency's trying to make money for them, or just simply doesn't put any time and effort into it, doesn't care about what the content looks like, stuff like that. Right? Like I've had a lot of models where we're already reaching like 10k a month within the first month, stuff like that, and I just feel like sometimes there's no point carrying on. Like obviously for other people, if you got a model and you're, for example, a beginner already reaching 5k off, 10k off, you might not want to drop it. But like at a certain point, it's just not worth it. Like I dropped two models this month because of that. Um, but yeah, I think just overall, like if you've got a creator that's making like 1k a month, 2k a month, whatever, um, and she just doesn't really care about it. She looks like she puts no effort into it, stuff like that. Even if you try to help her, you're most likely just wasting time. All that effort you're putting into it. If you just found a better model that's actually hardworking, maybe better looks, maybe better content, like phone stuff like that for quality, all that stuff, and then just like that you could already be making more money straight away because of a better model. So that's one thing that I think is actually very important when it comes to reaching just 10k a month, is actually finding the correct model, or at least finding a hardworking one that also understands it does take her to put some effort into it to make money. Next one is setting up everything to start and traffic and marketing. So for this one, it's kind of just the basics, which most of you probably know if you do OFM. If you don't, then I'll mention it. So it's like obviously once you sign them, so just things like getting the accounts created, making sure content is ready. Finding content or sending her content file that she can recreate from, so she knows what to do. Making sure everything's kind of just prepared, and then obviously picking a niche, right? So picking a niche, I speak on this every single video, so I'm not going to talk about it too much, but depending on your model's looks, you can find a potentially good niche for her, and you can test it out. And that goes for everything. That goes for Reddit, that goes for Twitter, IG, all that stuff. So it's sort of something that you have to, in my opinion, test a little bit like straight away, because it might not guaranteed work well for her, but depending on her looks, it's not hard to take a guess on what could work good for a model. Um, and yeah, just sort of making sure everything is correct, so that when her content is good to go, you can start traffic straight away. Because like I mentioned earlier, if she's a hardworking model, getting started with content, if you're also doing everything fast and correctly, you could literally start on the first day you sign her, or like within a second day max, right? So now, next thing I put is finding out what is working best for the model or models. So, I mean, this is pretty simple as well. It's basically just, about, let's say you start with like Twitter and Reddit. Um, do that for like a few days, see how it's going. And then within like a week, you could probably start something else like IG Reels or YouTube or, any other traffic source. Um, just give it a few days to test and just see what's working good, right? And if, for example, Twitter and Reddit works well for your model, or like it's bringing you the most subs, then you should be sure away scaling and doubling down on what is bringing lots of traffic, just what I'll put here next. And this is really important. Like, if you do want to actually reach 10k very quickly, you can't just stay on like one Twitter account, one Reddit account, one IG Reel account forever. You're gonna have to do more accounts, otherwise it just won't work out very well for you. Like, for example, with Reddit, you know, Reddit is very good, but I really don't think Reddit would ever be good for anyone that has just one account. Like, you need to be doing, I'd say, at least 3 accounts to see, you know, like decent results, right? So that's why I think it's quite important to do it very fast. Like, if you see that Reddit is bringing in a lot of traffic, or like the most traffic out of what you're doing so far, um, you should make like, or buy like another 2 accounts, maybe even more accounts depending on the budget. And then from there, within the next few days, you then see that you get even more subs, and then from there, you start making even more money. So it really goes down to that simple part of a lot of people just don't really scale and kind of double down on what's working good as soon as they see it actually working. I think that's something that's very important, is making sure you do that as soon as you see, okay, this is doing well. Let me focus more on that, make more accounts on that, maybe hire a team. If you can't handle, however many accounts you want to do, then get a team to do it for you as well, and then you'll see, a big difference, right? Um, and obviously, while you're doing all of this, while your traffic is growing and growing, next part I put here is making sure the channel team is ready and expecting traffic slash lots of subscribers. So one mistake that I've done in the past, um, and I mean this can happen quite often because obviously like with trying so many different strategies and stuff like that can happen. Um, but one thing that I did in the past quite a few times, I guess, is like if we had a good day in traffic where like let's say it went from, I don't know, 500 subs to 1k subs out of nowhere, then the Chaz don't expect that, right? Like the traffic is literally doubling, the amount of traffic is doubling. So obviously the kind of the way they're gonna have to work is going to be different because they're gonna have to, go through a lot more subscribers than they used to. So they should be prepared, right? So obviously it's not like you can always tell the exact amount it's going to be. But let's say you can work on this chat team for a few days. The first few days are slow. Then you should tell them like, okay, today or tomorrow I'm expecting to see a much bigger difference in subscribers because I've made more Reddit accounts. So be prepared to handle more traffic, right? So making sure that your channel team actually knows what's going to happen and what will most likely happen is very important too. If you want to make sure that they can also actually, maximize the revenue from that traffic. And obviously making sure they're actually ready. Like, don't just hire random VAs that you saw say that they want to work with an agency in their chat. Make sure they're actually good. Obviously, it's not the easiest to find them without actually testing them and knowing if they're actually good or not. So if you are, completely new, this is your first model, then you are gonna have to just risk and test sort of. But I think really the ratio you should be looking for like at lowest is like one to nine, 1 to 10, around that. Obviously, the higher the better, but I think that's kind of like the bare minimum that you should be doing to be kind of happy with. Lower than that, I'd say the Chaz must be really bad to not be able to um, do higher than that. So yeah, next part I'll put is content and customs. So this kind of goes down to, I think one thing a lot of people do as a mistake is kind of forgetting that the model actually needs to make content regularly. So like with Reddit, with Twitter, with any platform, the model's gonna have to kind of weekly make more and more and more content, right? And I feel like a lot of people, even as simple as it sounds, I feel like a lot of people just forget to remind the model or tell the model like, okay, we need new content within the next few days for Reddit and Twitter or for Reddit, IG, whatever it may be. And then that's where they sort of start to slow down because they have to wait for the model to make content like last minute out of nowhere, stuff like that. And obviously, there is a lot of times where the model, I don't know, goes on holiday or is just busy, stuff like that. And because of that, it delays them even more. So I think making sure your model actually, gets a few days extra before you actually will need it to make the content is very important. Because, let's say you need more content for Reddit, like especially if you started with a low amount, it's very important to, be asking model for new content regularly, like literally every single week. Um, and obviously same goes for OF, like OF content, like to sell. Make sure you actually have a good amount of content to sell. This kind of goes back to the first point I made, but yeah. And then customs as well. Customs, I don't know if it's just a strategy that I'm using, but from Reddit, in my experience, a lot of Reddit subscribers really like to buy customs, like not straight away, but they do like to buy customs the most, I'd say. So I think another thing that's very important is making sure your model is kind of, especially on those big traffic days, is active. So let's say I don't know, you've been averaging 10 paid subs every day for the past like 3 4 days, and then out of nowhere you've gotten 50 paid subs, right? Obviously that's not a massive difference, but 10 paid subs, 50 paid subs is a pretty big increase. That would help you make a lot more money in that day. So especially in those increases, to really maximize it, make sure that on those days your model is at least somewhat prepared to make content or custom, sorry. Um, because obviously whenever you got more traffic, there's a higher chance that you'll most likely receive a custom or two request from a few subscribers. So you know, and obviously if they're not ready, then that's where it might just go wrong, because some subscribers, even potential like whales, or high spenders, the model doesn't give them a custom, and they might just be like, okay, there's no point waiting. Now obviously most of the time, if you tell a subscriber like, oh, give me a day, I feel sick today or something like that, I can't do it today, they'll be fine with it. But there will obviously be times where they're like, I want it by today, um, and then they might get annoyed, and they might just get bored of waiting, stuff like that. And that's kind of where it goes wrong, really, right? Um, yeah. Now the last part I put here is just making sure you are scaling what works fast as possible. I mentioned it a bit earlier, but I think it's very important if you do really want to, actually reach 10K a month within the first month, something like that. It is very important, because at the end of the day, no matter how good um your creator is, or with any business, no matter how good the product is, um traffic is what brings the sales, right? You can't make sales if you don't have traffic. So making sure you are scaling whatever works fast as possible is one of the most important things in my opinion. You know, just test random things. Like if Reddit and Twitter is going good for you, and you've already hired a team for it, while they're doing that, you should be testing more things. Even if it's a random website that you've not heard of before, but it looks like a good market on it, then you might as well try it out, because you never know. It could be a random website that actually brings in a good amount of subscribers. So yeah, I think that's something that's quite important to do. It's just while scaling, um, also test other things. Find out what can work more for your model, what doesn't work good for your model. Keep testing. If Reddit doesn't work good straight away, it might not be your model, it might just be the niches you picked. So maybe test new subreddits, stuff like that. I think it's very important. Um, and yeah, I think that's pretty much everything for the video. I feel like it's a very simple video, but at the same time, a lot of people do struggle with reaching like 10K a month. So yeah, hopefully you guys will learn something new from this, and I'll probably make another video sometime this week. If I did miss anything that any of you that are stuck under like 10K a month or on, make sure you ask your questions in the description or in the comments. Sorry, and yeah, see you guys later.